Gonzaga leaving West Coast Conference to join Pac-12, sources told Action Network. Pac-12 still needs minimum of 2 football members by 2026, but Gonzaga, even without a football team, will receive a full conference revenue share in Pac-12. Well, check this out. About 20 minutes after he tweeted that out, John Rothstein hops in the mix of this and says, sources, contrary to reports referring to Brett Murphy, Gonzaga currently has no deal in place to leave the WCC for the Pac-12. What about that? So you got a great source in John Rothstein calling out another great source in Brett Murphy. It was pure chaos if you was watching this unfold like myself. Woo! Man, oh man, I hope you're ready for some crazy late night drama that involves no other than the Pac-12. As we all know, not just the past couple of months, but the past couple of years, there's been a lot of talk involving conference realignment for all the conferences. SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, the Pac-12, we saw them explode right from our eyes, but now they're starting to work their way back. And most recently, they added some new teams, but here was a problem with that. They only added 6, and to remain at the D1 level, you gotta have 8. So they are currently, as to when I'm speaking, as to when you're watching this video, on the hunt for some more teams. But take a look at this drama that unfolded between some sources on Twitter, and these are legit and verified sources. Brett Murphy tweeted this out. Memphis, Tulane, and USF decline offers to join the Pac-12 and will remain at AAC, sources told Action Network. Pac-12 will now look towards school closer to the geographic footprint, including UNLV, Utah State Air Force, and Gonzaga, basketball only. AAC also looking at Air Force, sources said. Shortly after he tweeted that out, the news came out. Shocker, Brett Murphy's really great at his job. It's official. They're not leaving the AAC. Memphis, USF, UTSA, and Tulane made it clear they're staying. There's a lot of people that didn't agree with it, but me personally, I don't think it's a bad decision because remember, guys, this isn't the old Pac-12. The Pac-12 now is sort of irrelevant. Where I'm going with this, it's not like Memphis, South Florida, UTSA, and Tulane turned down the SEC, the Big 10, or even the Big 12 at that. They turned down the new and modern version of the Pac-12, and this version isn't too good. And no, that's not all there is to this. We are just getting started. After that, Brett Murphy tweets out, Gonzaga leaving West Coast Conference to join Pac-12, sources told Action Network. Pac-12 still needs minimum of 2 football members by 2026, but Gonzaga, even without a football team, will receive a full conference revenue share in Pac-12. That was interesting news because remember, like he said, even though you're getting Gonzaga, it doesn't count towards the football part and you still need 2 more teams. Well, check this out. About 20 minutes after he tweeted that out, John Rothstein hops in the mix of this and says, sources, contrary to reports referring to Brett Murphy, Gonzaga currently has no deal in place to leave the WCC for the Pac-12. What about that? So you got a great source in John Rothstein calling out another great source in Brett Murphy. It was pure chaos if you was watching this unfold like myself. And just like this guy says right here, we have a source off, and that's what it was. For those of you who don't know, John Rothstein, I would label him as the basketball guy. And when I saw that tweet, when he stepped into this whole, I guess you'd say, debacle that's ongoing, I was like, oh yeah. I'm on his side, and I know he's right. Although John Rothstein is a source himself, he has way too many connections tied to basketball to be wrong about this. Which yet again was interesting because it's not like some random Joe Schmo tweeted out that Gonzaga is leaving for the Pac-12. It was Brett Murphy, who's one of the best. Not too long after that, news started to come out that since UNLV and Air Force, they're not going to join, they're staying in the Mountain West, the Pac-12 officially offered Utah State to join. McMurphy tweets out, Utah State expected to accept Pac-12 offer tonight, sources told Action Network. That will leave 7 football members in both the Pac-12 and Mountain West, one short of NCAA requirements for an FBS league. But hold on, take a look at this. Reports started coming out that UNLV, they're not out the picture just quite yet, and they're still considering heading towards the Pac-12. Because of moving pieces, UNLV has not signed and fully committed to Mountain West and is still considering Pac-12. The Pac-12 is wanting to build a strong basketball conference to go with its football league with various revenue streams, sources said. What about that? And like this reply says right here, I can't keep up with all this. Wake me up when September ends. I mean, it is kind of confusing, and to be honest, that's why it's so intriguing and fascinating to me because it is pure chaos. According to Pete Thamel, though, he got in the mix of things. He has stated in claiming that Utah State is expected to take its offer from the Pac-12. Continuing along, the confirmation of accepting the offer is expected soon. How soon is that going to be? I have no idea, but it could be any minute, any hour, any day. Here's what he had to say about UNLV per sources. UNLV officials are expected to huddle tonight to further evaluate options. They would have committed to the MWC if all 8 schools were in. Now they pivoted back to exploring. So what about that? That is really fascinating to me. So UNLV is stating in other terms, hey, we'd love to join y'all, but what worries us and concerns us is y'all don't have 8 teams, and that's not good enough to compete at the FBS level according to NCAA. And most recently, here's what Pete Thamel tweeted out. Sources, don't expect any decision from UNLV tonight on its conference destination. The school is exploring all facets of the decision and needs to vet options thoroughly and do so through proper channels. That is where we stand with all this right now, and as you can see, it is trending all over Twitter, and it's for good reason. But here's where things get even more interesting. According to Yahoo Sports and Ross Dellinger, Utah State has already agreed to join the Pac-12. Here's my question with all this before we even go any farther, and I'm asking you guys, please let me know in the comment section. Does any of this actually matter? Is the Pac-12 ever going to be relevant again, or are we just sticking with the Power 4? And as we all know, eventually the ACC is going to crumble like a cookie, and we're going to go to the Big 3, and you're going to have, way down the road, I think, 2 mega conferences in the SEC and Big 10. But for now, at least we still got the Power 4. But if the Pac-12 can get their act together, get, let's say, 8 to 10 teams, do we go back to calling it the Power 5? I have no idea. Because for me, I'll just tell you straight up, I do not take Utah State, UNLV, if they do get them, Colorado State, Oregon State, Washington. I do not take them schools serious. At best, they're going to be what? Fringe top 25 teams. That's it. They're not going to be competing for championships. They're not going to be in the top 10 every single year. However, with that being said, the basketball side of things is really interesting because remember one of the tweets I showed you, they're not just focused on football, they're focused on basketball. And if you get Gonzaga, I mean, they could carry the league just by themselves. Here's my next question I want to ask each and every single one of you. If you don't get UNLV, who do you go after? One popular team I've seen people mentioning on Twitter is UConn, but think about the geographic location of that. That'd be an insane travel schedule. UConn is about as far as the East Coast as it gets. And all those other schools are going to be out west. And I know it seems like a lot of these conferences don't care about the travel distance anymore, but I don't know. Maybe that plays into it. If you want my 2 cents on this, I view all of it as a crap show because you're not picking teams you want if you're the Pac-12. You're in full-out desperation mode. What's that saying? It's something along the lines of beggars can't be choosers, and that's where they're at. They're not choosing the teams and hand-picking the teams they want to be in the conference. They're just picking what's left, the scraps pretty much. Let's say for the sake of this video, they get it situated and they get either 8 to 10 teams total in the conference. I still have a hard time believing, number one, they're going to be a highly competitive conference, and number two, other people are going to respect them, and kids and high school recruits are going to want to go there. We'll end it off with this. If you are a fan of any of these teams, I am genuinely curious. Let me know your thoughts on who you want to see join the conference. And if you're just a college football fan, let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you think would be a good fit for, I guess you can't call them the Pac-12 anymore, but the Pac-8, Pac-10, whatever they're going to wind up being. I probably won't cover this anymore, but I did think what was going on tonight was pretty crazy. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts and all this down below. But, Roman.